Hi everybody, Jen Richards here, co-founder and creator of Rumbles Paleo. And what some of you may not know about me is I'm actually also a practitioner. I'm an EFT tapping practitioner and matrix re-imprinting practitioner, and I run my own private practice called Matrix Regeneration. And what I do is I work with people who are having troubles with anxiety, depression, and also I work with a lot of women who have problems around eating. It may be disordered eating, it may be body image problems, and all the associated problems that go along with that as well. And so I was sitting here, and it's Monday, and I know there's millions of people around the world, not just women but men as well, who are yet again starting a diet. It's Monday, right? And all good intentions seem to happen on Monday when it comes to food. The weekend's over. You've had your beer, you've had your wine, you've indulged, you've had, cheese, and you've been out for dinners, and Monday morning's here, and you're going to start a new diet, and you're going to be super good. You actually even spent all Sunday afternoon prepping your lunches ready to go for the week. And so Monday comes, and you might even get up at 6 a.m, go for a run. You have your eggs for brekkie, you've got your carrot sticks and everything chopped up for your snacks, you've got your salad for lunch, and you come home, you have dinner, and you have your protein and vegetables, and you're feeling amazing. Tuesday comes, you do the same again, and you're on a roll, right? Wednesday comes, you've been so good, you get home from work, and because you've been so good, you're just gonna slip in that, little glass of wine, okay? And this is where the first nail has kind of been, banged into the coffin, because now you've made that one little exception, and those voices are starting to creep into your head. Oh my God, I've failed. I had a glass of wine and I didn't stick to what it was I said I was going to do. But Thursday morning, you wake up, you have your healthy breakfast, and you keep going. But it's Carl's birthday at work, and they're all having cake, and you'd feel kind of out of it if you just didn't have a little slither with them. So you have a slither of cake, and you start to beat yourself up over it a little bit. Oh my gosh, why did I have that piece of cake? I said I wasn't going to. And then you go home from work, you have your dinner, you have that glass of wine again, but because you've mucked up now, you might as well just have, a little bowl of ice cream to go with it. And then Friday comes, and it's been such a hectic week. You haven't got anything prepped for lunch, so you just duck out to the cafe and you grab that creamy pasta, and you grab that huge muffin that's the size of the sun, because that's what size muffins seem to be these days. And you're like, bugger it. It's the weekend now, because weekends tend to start Friday mornings or even Thursday nights, it seems, these days. So you're just gonna blow it all, and you'll start again next Monday. Hands up if you've done that. Me. I've done it 1,000 times myself. Now there's many reasons why the I'll start my diet on Monday never works, and I know the reasons because I've had to battle them myself, and I work with people who are trying to look a certain way to feel good about themselves. And I thought I'd share with you 3 of the reasons why the I'll start my diet on Monday never actually works. So the first reason is you need to get a new perspective on food. When you live in the land of I'll start my diet on Monday, many people view food as a way to either put on weight or a way to lose weight. And when we have this perception of food, we tend to live in the world of fear. And when we live in the world of fear, we breed the little babies of anxiety, depression, this sense that you're missing out, or this sense that there's danger lurking around every corner. And when we have those feelings of anxiety and frustration, or that we're missing out, we feel empty. We feel like something's missing, that there's holes inside of us. And what happens when we have these holes inside of us? We need to fill them up, right? And what is that thing we tend to fill those holes up with? Food, okay? So it's kind of like this self-perpetuating circle. You're going on this diet, I'm not going to eat any bad food, but you're feeling fearful, so you're feeling empty. And then eventually the pressure is going to build up, and you're like, oh, bugger it, I'm just going to have that piece of chocolate, I'm just going to have that piece of cake. And then guilt and shame steps in. So one thing you should try to do, instead of trying to do everything on Monday and start that diet and start that exercise routine, is to start looking at food from a new perspective. To start looking at healthy, real food as a vehicle for allowing you to be vital, for allowing you to be full of energy. Think of it as your best mate in getting you towards those goals you want to achieve. So when you're having your salad and chicken with, your homemade mayonnaise, you're thinking, wow, I'm eating this and I'm feeling so vital and alive. I'm going to be able to go back to work and cover my list of jobs. I'm going to be able to go home, play with the kids, and I'm going to be able to live as the most amazing version of myself. So when we start changing our perspective on what food is, we start being able to manage it and enjoy it instead of being afraid of it. The second reason why the I'll start my diet on Monday never works is because you've been trained to think that you're not enough. You've been trained to think that you are, as a person, is a reflection of what you look like, a reflection of a number on a scale. The weight loss industry is worth $1 gazillion. I don't know how much a gazillion is, but it's a lot, okay? Since we were children, we've been bombarded with messages on billboards, in magazines, on television, in film clips, that we need to be a certain weight, that we need to have a six-pack, that we need to have, thighs of steel, that we need to be super skinny, that we need to look a certain way. And they're making us feel like we're not enough. When we're when we put our attention, a lot of our focus onto these advertisements that are being fed to us, we just feel ugly and we feel fat. And it's a virus you have caught from the media and from the world we've been brought up in. This belief that we need to look a certain way and that we're never enough. And when we're comparing ourselves to the people in these advertisements, when we're comparing ourselves to, Jill, who sits on the desk next to us and she's 5 kilos lighter, when we're constantly comparing ourselves, we'll get that feeling of not being enough again. And we'll be governed by externalities and not be able to embrace our lives because we're never skinny enough and we're never pretty enough. So my challenge to you is to start looking at these advertisements that you see, to start looking at the models who have spent, 2 hours in makeup and then have had their skin airbrushed and their bodies airbrushed, to start challenging the messages they're sending you and call them out, call bullshit on what it is that they're trying to sell you, okay? So stop comparing, try to stop comparing and start calling bullshit on these messages that are being fed to us from the billion-dollar weight loss industry. Which brings me to my third point on why the I'll start my diet on Monday never works. And it's about having a shift in seeing yourself as an externality, as a body, and to start having a change of heart, okay? It's time to start practicing self-love instead of your own version of self-hate because you don't look a certain way. The self-hate and that I'm not enough, it litters our souls with potholes, and we're always searching for something more because we don't feel like we're enough. And we need to, instead of beating ourselves up about eating a certain way, is to start to fill those holes up with self-love. And this may be one of the trickiest things for people to do, to start understanding that you're not going to be, to start understanding that your life doesn't begin 2 kilos down from now. Your life doesn't begin when you lose 10 kilos. Your life doesn't begin when you fit into those jeans. It begins right now. And it begins by understanding that you as a person are enough already. And when you have a bit more self-love, then diet won't be as important to you. Or I don't mean diet, but what I mean is chocolate might not be as important to you, or having to, down a tub of ice cream because you feel so worthless, or you feel like you hate yourself so much, won't be as important to you. And instead you'll start treating yourself in nourishing ways. So they're my 3 tips for why the diet never works on Monday. And one thing I believe as well is that, maybe changing your diet is not about doing everything at once. It's about doing one thing at a time. Us as people are a bag and a ball of conditioned behaviors. Since we are children, we develop these beliefs, we develop these habits, and they've programmed us to act and think in certain ways. And sometimes to change those ways, we need to do it one little step at a time. So maybe instead of starting that big diet on Monday, you might just pick one thing and change that. You might change your snacks to, say, something healthier, to Rumbles Paleo cookies maybe, or to some homemade dips with vegetables. And once you manage that, you might start, drinking 8 liters of water a day and see how you feel. And once you conquer that, then you'll gain momentum and you'll start to feel a bit better, and you might eliminate grains from your dinner. You might eliminate that pasta, eliminate a baked potato, and start having just lean meats and green veggies instead. The thing is, when it comes to changing people, what I find from working with my clients is that when we make those small little incremental steps, we start to feel success within ourselves, which means we start to love ourselves, and then we start wanting to better ourselves in so many other ways. So we take another step and we master that, and we start to feel even better about ourselves again. We're like, yeah, I can do this. And then you make another change, and another and another and another, and pretty soon, this may take a year, you've made these small incremental steps that have built to transformational change. So maybe just one thing at a time is the way you want to work. Now, if you liked what I've been talking about, I've written a blog post on it, and it's up on the Rumbles Paleo website. And if you'd like to learn more about me and how I work with people in understanding these issues and working through them, then you can find me at Matrix Regeneration, that's with a J.com. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I shall speak to you all soon. I can just see someone started watching, Emily too. Hi, Em. So this will be up on Facebook. Subscribe to our Facebook live posts if you don't want to miss any of what I've got to say and the recipes I cook. And I can't wait to make contact with you and chat with you and bring you more information on diet, on accepting ourselves, on self-love, on body image as well, because I've spent half of my lifetime figuring this out. I'm still trying to figure it out too. All right, thanks for watching. Bye guys.